So, inshallah, Dr. Munjid, who is a chairman of the Syrian Medical Association in Qatar, he will emphasize his speech and he will talk about the destruction of hospitals, ambulance, and medical facilities in Gaza.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. سبقني الكثير من الأخوة. The speech before me was about what should be. I will speak now what's happening in reality. The title of this lecture is The Dilemma of Targeting Hospital. What is dilemma, first of all? Why we call it dilemma, not a problem, let's say. Dilemma because it's complicated. There's many factors, multiple factors. There's pressure, and you have to take your choice. You have to choose. You cannot keep silent. If you are silent, then you are supporting one of the sides, one of the parties. You cannot be silent. Dilemma in targeting, I'm telling targeting means intentional or not intentional. Let's see. This lecture will prove if this is intentional or no, or by chance, collateral damages. The dilemma of targeting hospital and armed conflicts. It's not only in Gaza, but today we are speaking about Gaza, which is the hot case and the most horrible maybe in the last many years. What happened in 17th October was targeting of Al-Ahli published owned by the church hospital in Gaza. About 500 civilians being killed there. There is a series of condemnations around the world. Somebody said only condemnations, maybe only condemnations, yes. UN Secretary General Mr. Antonio Guterres said that hospital and medical personnel are protected under the international humanitarian law. WHO, Dr. Tedros said that immediate protection of civilians and healthcare is important, and he strongly condemns the attacks. Here we are describing also the case. UN described the case as running on empty dilemma. Empty of no food, no water, no electricity, no fuel. So it's not the usual thing, not only military attack, it is attack on empty. Out of 35 hospitals, 12 now is not working, not functioning. When I prepared the lecture, it was 4, now they are 12, not functioning. Maybe after I finish this lecture, the number will be 14 or 15 hospital not working.
They want the Turkish hospital.
Yes,
Just in the news.
yes, you are right. You are right, yes. I will speak about the Turkish hospital. And I'll speak in this lecture about 3 major points. Number 1, about the normative framework. I will talk about the legal part of this. What international humanitarian law says in this. In the second part, I will talk about the reality of targeting hospital as one of the tools of the war. It is one of the tools of the war. It's not by chance. And finally, I will suggest some scenarios how to protect the healthcare facilities and the medical personnel and the injured people from being attacked. The international laws protects medical facilities in times of armed conflict. There is principle of I will speak about some points, few points to explain the situation in the international laws. There is principle of distinction. It means the armies, the parties should distinguish between civilians and combatants. Should distinguish between them. It is one of their job to distinguish, not just to kill, not just to destroy the land. They have to distinguish. This is one of their important points. Protection of medical personnel also. Doctors, nurses, healthcare workers should be respected and protected. Red Cross and other organizations can monitor this. Protection of healthcare facilities, like hospital, clinics, healthcare facilities should be also protected and must not attack, damage, or destroy. Not only not attacked, should also be protected. Here we have 2 points. You should not attack. Another point, you have to protect these facilities. Medical units are considered neutral and should be protected from attack. This including ambulance, including healthcare centers. The wounded and sick people have the right to be treated regardless of their affiliation, have the right to be treated by medical personnel. It's important that all parties also to the conflict must allow the free passage of medical personnel, medical equipment, medicines, everything. Medical records also should be protected. Not only the personnel, also the computers, the files, everything should be protected. This is the international law. I'm talking now about international law. I'm not talking about what's happening in Gaza. I'm talking about the international law. Medical records should be protected, and medical units should not be used in any military actions. Here there is a point that even the military hospital also prohibited to attack. If you consider a hospital that this is officially military hospital, it's prohibited to attack and also prohibited to use in military actions on the other side. So military hospital, cars, ambulances, doctors, nurses, drivers, all are protected by the humanitarian laws. Here I will talk about 3 major laws that to explain to you, to the students also, about the reference of what we are talking about. Number 1, the 4th Geneva Convention, 1949. This convention is primary legal framework governing the protection of civilians during times of armed conflict, including a situation of occupation, like in Gaza. This agreement, ratified by all states. How many states there in the UN? 193 states. All states ratified, signed this agreement. It includes several provisions related to healthcare facilities in occupied territories. I will read here only number 16, Article 16, 17, and 18. Prohibition of attack on hospital and other medical facilities, as well as measures to prevent their harm. Again, not allowed to attack, and you have to protect. Number 17, ensuring that the medical personnel are allowed to carry out their duties. Passages in the road, safety of the hospital, everything. Number 18, facilitating the operation of civilian hospitals. This is the 4th Geneva Convention. is the most important reference for healthcare facilities protection and occupied territories in the international humanitarian law. Two protocols, additional protocols at 1977. These protocols provide additional protection for healthcare facilities and personnel in both international, which is Protocol 1, and non-international armed conflicts in Protocol 2. Article 12 prohibits attack of civilians, ensure protection, so and so, require so and so, so and so. You know everything now. No attack on civilians, no attack on hospital, doctors, cars, and international and non-international armed conflicts. There is a very important principle here I want to highlight: responsibility to protect. 2005. This global commitment is agreed by UN General Assembly at 2005 in order to prevent genocide, war crimes, ethnic cleansing, and crimes against humanity. It has been used in more than 8 UN Security Council resolution on the crisis of many countries in Africa, Libya, Somalia, South Sudan, Syria, Yemen, etc. Also, this principle is used in more than 50 Human Rights Council resolutions and 13 General Assembly. So it is well recognized and well used principle. I will give you some details here, very few, that this principle is based on 3 pillars. Number 1, the state is responsible, each state is responsible to protect its population from genocide, crimes, ethnic cleansing, and crimes. Number 2, international assistance. It means when the state need to be assisted, it should be assisted to achieve the protection from genocide and war crimes. Number 3, which we call it collective response. If any state failed in this, then the UN in general, they have the right to interfere to achieve the protection of civilians. This is the international law. Yes, what we have now something different. We have now the lethal law. I want you to imagine you are a doctor. I'm a doctor, Dr. Fuad, many doctors here. We are seeing patients every day, 15 to 20 patients every day. This is the normal thing. We listen to them, know what is they are suffering from, then we make the diagnosis, then we start treatment for 15 to 20 patients per day. Our colleagues in Gaza, out of sudden, from average 15 to 20 patients per day, crisis happen, they have 300, 400, 500 patients a day in front of them, on the ground, all wounded or injured severely. How to manage this? What to do? What to choose? We are facing cases. For every doctor, there is 300 injured personnel in the ground. What to choose? High pressure, high psychological pressure, everything is very catastrophic. You know what they are doing? Can you imagine what they are doing, these doctors, our colleague in Gaza? If somebody is in severe case, they will leave him to die. Because the time spent and effort spent to help this severely injured patient, I can save lives for another 30 patients with with medium injury. So they are using this rule. They keep the severely injured to die, and they shift to medium injury to treat them, and the minor injury, they just send them back home or teach them to just therapy, pressure the wound and go home. Have you seen the videos of making stitches for wounded child 10 years old without anesthesia? Have you seen it? And the doctor asked him, اقرأ القرآن, read Quran and think something else while I'm suturing your wound without anesthesia. This is the reality. While doing this, any of our colleagues in Gaza may find his family in the hospital as injured or dead, or receive a call, urgent call from his family that your house and all of your family died. This what's happening now, today, while we are here. What's happening there is what I'm telling you. Let's see this doctor, our colleague, he was there in the hospital, in the Al-Shifa hospital. In Al-Shifa hospital, he get to know that his child is brought to the hospital and he's died. Let's see it. So, I updated this slide every day. I'm updating. The lecture should be done, I think it was before 5 days. Every day I'm updating because the number is changing by thousands. The latest, which is yesterday night, we have about 8,000 shuhada, out of them 2,000 women, 3,500 children, and 500 elderly. The wounded are 21,000. We have, from the medical staff, till yesterday night, 124 shahid, 25 ambulances completely destroyed, 32 hospitals, health centers stopped, and 12 hospitals stopped also. The Turkish Friendship Hospital, which is the only cancer hospital in Gaza, is stopped also. Yesterday there was attacks. What to do? You know now why we said it's a dilemma? What to do? How to solve it? It's scenarios and suggestions. In the last, now I have 3 minutes more, I will try to mention some solutions, some scenarios. We have to implement the protocols that protect hospitals and medical personnel. We have to make real protection of the medical facilities, not talking about laws. We are facing tanks, air attacks. Our action should not be reading the international law. When there is a criminal guy coming to you, you will not stand in front of him and read the law. You will not stop. he will continue. We have examples on this in Syria before. They use the basement floors for hospital and leave the whole building as protection for the hospital. This is one of the solutions. If the building of four floors, then you can keep the basement for hospital and other floors will be for protection. Also, building wide, strong walls around some hospital, some theater, also operation room to protect the patients. Advocacy is very important. What we are doing here is advocacy. I want to thank professors for this lecture and this college also for this Islamic Study College. Education and capacity building. Any person who's working in the field, in the medical field, should be additionally educated about these circumstances, this condition, because he will face it. Even if his town or his city today is safe, tomorrow we don't know. So it should be included in the teaching programs. From another side, also for education, maybe we have to educate more medical personnel, more doctors. We need, because they are killed, so we need more, and nurses and everything. We should have a humanitarian access, always special access for the health worker. Legal protection is also important. I'm not telling that legal aspect is not important. It's important. It's our الشرعية, it's our backbone, the legal action. We are on the right side. International community engagement is important, and civil community organization. Professor Loay said that the West is too. There is part of them we can, yes, still we can. Yeah, continue, we can talk to them. Documentation is very important, and is part of education for documentation and for the safety, keep the record safe. I'm talking about not only the medical documents, but also how to photo, how to make videos for the attacks and keep them in a safe place that can be used later on. In this situation, I want to say the verse in Arabic about what was happening. مات الطبيب بطبه ودوائه، مات المداوي والمداوى والذي جلب الدواء. All killed. The doctor, the patient, the pharmacist, the nurses. مات الطبيب بطبه ودوائه، مات المداوي والمداوى والذي جلب الدواء. حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل. Protecting civilians in Islam. Discussed in detail with Professor Loay. I want to thank you, Dr. Loay, for this very nice lecture. This nice paint is done by a student in the university here in Qatar. It shows all countries supporting what's happening in Gaza. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Munjid. And last but not least,